Hi, I'm Reverend Nicole Reilley, and welcome to the Clergy Wellness Podcast. This is Season 1, Episode 13, Easy-Peasy Happiness Hacks. Today we'll also look at a wellness practice of the week, what is making this week good, and a mindfulness meditation practice. So, let's jump in. So a couple episodes ago, in episode 11, I talked about increasing your happiness right where you're at. In other words, if you, like most of us, can't change the circumstances of your life, you can't change your church or your stress or your kids or your significant other, you may wonder how you can be happy. Well, I love looking at this question because we often think that we can't be happy until we change our circumstances, but usually what we find is we can't change our circumstances, they are what they are, or even if we can change them, we often find ourselves in similar circumstances not too much later. So, if you can't change your circumstances, how do you increase your happiness? Well, we can manage our minds. We can work to address the ruts we get in of negativity and pessimism. This is, of course, key. But I find it can be nearly impossible to change my mindset sometimes. I mean, don't get me wrong, I'd like to change my mindset, but sometimes I just am completely stuck in the mood I am in. So, I've started to think about, probably over the last 5 years or so, what are the things that if I do them regularly, they give me a better opportunity to have a good mindset day in and day out. So I'm going to share with you a list I've developed over the past years that are kind of my hacks of happiness. These are the things that keep me in a better mindset and increase the opportunity for me to either get back to a more positive and upbeat mindset when things are hard, or at least help me find my way back a lot sooner than I would have. So I hope my list today is helpful, and I hope it helps you think about what you might put on your own list of easy-peasy happiness hacks. Now, first let me say this. For a lighter and happier and more content life, you will have to embrace that you are worthy of it. Now, I find it sad, but too often we don't have this foundation of self-worth that we all need. In a faith tradition that's all about receiving from God what we could never earn ourselves, we too often fall into a trap of thinking we have to earn a break, earn a day off, earn time to do what we enjoy. Here's the truth, my friends. You were born worthy, and there is nothing you can do to lose your worthiness. There is nothing you can also do to become more worthy. This is true for everybody in the whole world. Honestly, too many clergy are trying to prove their worth, which leads to unhappiness, exhaustion, cynicism, and a lot of other junk. Okay, so embrace that you are worthy, and you are worthy of happiness, or if that's not the word you're going for here, trigger word maybe for some of you. You might prefer the word contentment or ease or peace, but know that you are worthy of it. So here are my top 10. I'm going to give them to you. Not because they're your top 10, but because I hope they will get you thinking about what are your happiness hacks. Number 1, get rid of one thing from your week. I say yes to a lot of things, and so I end up with things on my week that I dread. So while it is ideal not to say yes to things you don't want to do, the other option has been for me that when I sit down to do my weekly planning, I look at what I can say no to. Sometimes it's an appointment, but more often it's usually stuff that I've laid on myself to do that just isn't realistic. So, in my saying no, I'm acknowledging that I really wasn't going to get to it, and that just hanging over my head was going to make me feel bad. So, I look at my week. I might move something to another week. I might cross it out. So, the first thing of my easy-peasy happiness hacks is to get rid of one thing from my week. My second happiness hack is to stop explaining. This one relates to number one for sure. I used to move things off my calendar and then explain why, like I had to justify it. Eventually I recognized I don't. Sure, sometimes I do want to explain, and then I do. But it isn't mandatory. And when I feel as if it hooks back into my feelings of being unworthy unless I have a good reason, that's important to note and move on. Anyway, I have found most of the time when you give big long explanations for why you're not doing things, most people don't care anyway. So, number 2, stop explaining so much. Number 3, develop several soundtracks for your life. I love music and have worked to have several soundtracks for the day. Spotify, of course, is great for this. Here's a couple that I love there. One is called Comforting Sounds. It's not actually a playlist on Spotify, it's a podcast. And it is super good for relaxing and napping. But I also use it in the evening when I read. Look for it. Check it out. It's called Comforting Sounds. It's really quite wonderful. Second is a playlist on Spotify. It's called Lo-Fi Beats. It says, the chillest beats to help you relax, study, code, and focus. So that's a good one. The third one I like is called French Cafe Jazz. This is a great one when I'm getting ready in the morning and I'm not listening to podcasts. Number 4 is Morning Classical. Its description is uplifting classical melodies to help you rise and shine. And then the last playlist I'll share is 1,200 Years of Women Composers. It's part of the Ulysses Classical channel, and it's a wonderful way to get exposed to women composers. I also last year made a playlist for my birthday, and I still love listening to it. It has songs from my childhood, all the way up to today's passions. So one of the things that helps me, easy-peasy happiness hack, is to develop several soundtracks for your day and life. My 4th happiness hack is to have a simple pleasure for each and every day. Life can be a grind with one thing after another. So I build in a simple pleasure for each and every day. Here are some: making a pot of tea and listening to music for 20 minutes. Getting one special cookie and sitting outside and enjoying it. Spending 10 minutes in my potting shed looking for a pot to fill next time that I go out to Trader Joe's or Armstrong Nursery. Taking a 10-minute nap and a 10-minute stretch late in the afternoon. Making an iced double espresso to drink, which actually I'm having right now while I finish up on a project. Taking 10 minutes to shop online at a favorite store. This is one of my favorites. I put lots of things in my cart, but I seldom buy them. It's just good fun to look at what's out there. So number 4 is having a simple pleasure for each and every day. My number 5 happiness hack is to diminish your preoccupation with yourself. It drives me crazy how much I think about myself, my weight, my hair, my clothes, my work, my. So, I have worked to diminish my preoccupation with myself. I have a uniform, what I mostly wear every day to stop the mind chatter. I turn off the Zoom camera so I don't have to see my hair. I write down my food every day so I don't have to make a decision in the moment. The more you think about yourself and see how much you don't measure up, the worse you feel. So, this has been a great happiness hack. Ways to diminish my preoccupation with myself. Number 6, you use mindfulness to enjoy simple daily beauty. I am a meditator, and that's an important part of my spiritual practice. But one of the things that I really love using mindfulness for is not just when I'm sitting on a cushion. I like to use it when I pause during the day to look around me and enjoy the beauty there. So if I can look out the window, I'll do that. Or sometimes I pick up a book and look at photos in there. In fact, one of the things I've done with technology is have a lot of my Instagram feed be about beautiful pictures of flowers. So I pause, maybe just even for a couple minutes. I'm 100% present and enjoy what I'm seeing. So, number 6 is use mindfulness to enjoy the simple daily beauty. Number 7, taking a vow of happiness. I think that having cancer has made me take happiness and joy more seriously. I mean, there's always junk going on in the world, in our lives, with our health and the health of those we love. There are millions of reasons not to be happy. But in 2020, when I was diagnosed with polycythemia vera, a rare blood cancer, I thought to myself, I better get serious about happiness. So what's more serious than a vow? So I made a vow to myself to be happy, not to pretend, not to ignore my feelings of sadness, but to engage with my life on such a level that I valued happiness and contentment and peace more than I valued staying stuck in the junk. So number 7, make a happiness vow. Number 8, move your body. I think we are all probably aware that there's a ton of evidence that movement is good for your mental health and wellness. There have even been studies that talk about how antidepressants and exercise are often equally effective. I'm not sure about all of that myself, but I do know that for me, movement matters a lot in my happiness level. And so even though I'm not naturally inclined to do this stuff, I have found it makes a big difference in my happiness. So I row on my hydro and I walk on my treadmill and I do simple yoga and I stretch and I have a kickboard to go back and forth in the pool and I walk around at the mall. I always have an excuse not to. Always. And I'm one of those people that after exercise, I don't feel better. I feel worse. But more and more I'm doing it and I'm showing up. So number 8 is move your body. Number 9, invest in yourself. What do you want for yourself in your future? And when was the last time you actually thought about that? What do you want for you? I wanted additional coaching education, but I saw it was going to cost real money. And I thought about it for a while. And then I did it. And I'm really glad I spent the money. Are you investing in yourself? For you, it might be education like it was for me, or maybe it's your hobbies, or vacation, or just time. When I don't invest in myself, I feel like I'm always pouring out and never being filled up. Being a pastor, being a preacher, being a pastoral caregiver, all the things that clergy do on a daily basis is a ton of work. Just for preaching, you may research and imagine and write and memorize and deliver. It's a lot of pouring out. So how are you investing in yourself and filling up? So number 9, invest in yourself. And number 10, build your brain health. I just finished reading a book called How to Build a Healthy Brain: Practical Steps to Mental Health and Well-Being by Kimberly Wilson. I really liked it. It was really a pretty easy read and a lot of great ideas. She says this. She says, in the same way that a car that is well maintained will last longer and be more reliable, you cannot hope to get the lasting high performance you want from your brain if it's not properly cared for and protected. The very end of her book, she has a summary about the things you need to look at if you want to build a healthy brain. And this is some of the stuff that's on the list. You have to look at your sleeping, your food, your dental health, your physical activity, breath work, heat, attention, social media, money, emotions, and relationships. There's a lot to think about in this book. So as I've thought about how to build my brain to be more healthy for a longer period of time, these are the things I've added in. Eating berries, blueberries I guess are super great for you, and some unsalted nuts every day. Adding more herbs into my food, not just salt and pepper. Seeing a dentist more. Noticing and recording my emotions more. I like this book and I recommend it because it's really very simple, and I think it's something we don't think about too much, how to increase our brain health. So number 10 is to build your brain health. So there's my 10. And the more I remember to do them, I find the more content and peaceful I am, even when things are challenging and I get off track. I want to encourage you, as we go into the fall with everything that's going on, to write down some of your own. Maybe you have 10, maybe less. A list that you can look at and think about how you might have your own easy-peasy happiness hacks. Wellness practice of the week. This is where I share something you can do this week to increase your wellness. And this week's wellness practice is to look at how you are sleeping, how you're resting at night. And I think a lot of us have some kind of tracker. I have a Fitbit, and one of the things it does is it tracks how I'm sleeping. And what I've noticed over the last couple months is that my restorative sleep is too low. So I've tried to figure out how to deal with this. And one of the things that I've been working on is to go up to my bedroom about 30 minutes before I'm going to sleep and do the restorative yoga pose where you lie on your back, but you put your feet up the wall. Now, what that does is it just relaxes you. I've turned off a couple of the lights. I'm listening to some quiet music. And I just do this for about 10-15 minutes. And sure enough, when I take the time to do that, my restorative sleep, which has a lot to do with your pulse rate going lower, my restorative sleep went up. So how's your sleep? Do you need a colder room? Better pillows? Do it. Sleep continues to be the number one thing they point to for wellness and brain health. So this week, take care of your sleep, because great sleep will increase your wellness. What's making this week good? This is the part of the episode when I talk about what I'm enjoying with the hope that you too will notice some good things in your week. Well, this week, vacation is making my week good. I am up in Big Bear, enjoying the trees and the mountains and a time to relax. I have always loved to put my vacations right at the end of the summer so that I have something to look forward to as soon as everybody is going back to school or almost getting ready. Toward the end of summer, we all start kind of whining about how summer's over. I always like to be able to go, not yet, not yet. I still have my vacation. So this week, I'll be doing some work, but I will also be doing some reading. I'm reading 2 books, Mary Magdalene Revealed, which is really kind of a crazy book, but I'm kind of loving it. And then after that, The Art of Believing on Purpose. I'm also spending some time with my favorite blog, The Simple Luxurious Life. So you might check that out if you like Britain and you like France and you like beautiful things. She's really into clothes, and her clothes stuff are beautiful, but way too much money for me. But it's a great blog. I'm also spending time needle pointing, walking, and journaling. I'll spend time with Jeff and the dogs. So vacation is what is making this week good. Mindfulness Meditation. So take a moment to relax and to be present in whatever way works for you. Remember who you are. You are God's beloved. And remember in whose image you were created. You were created in the image and the likeness of God. So as I read these words from 1 Peter 3, verses 10 and 11, just listen. Breathe them in and let them give you life and hope. I'm going to read from the Message version. Summing up, be agreeable, be sympathetic, be loving, be compassionate, be humble. That goes for all of you. No exceptions. No retaliation. No sharp-tongued sarcasm. Instead, bless. That's your job, to bless. You'll be a blessing and also get a blessing. Whoever wants to embrace life and to see the day fill up with good, here's what to do. Say nothing evil or hurtful. Snub evil and cultivate good. Run after peace, for all you're worth. Summing up, be agreeable, be sympathetic, be loving, be compassionate, be humble. That goes for all of you. No exceptions, no retaliation, no sharp-tongued sarcasm. Instead, bless. That's your job, to bless. You'll be a blessing and also get a blessing. So whoever wants to embrace life and see the day fill up with good, here's what to do. Say nothing evil or hurtful. Snub evil and cultivate good. Run after peace, for all you're worth. Remember these words, my friend, and may they give you life. Thanks for listening. I appreciate you. I invite you to subscribe, rate, and review this podcast. You can follow me on Instagram and Facebook at Nicole Reilley Coaching and find out how to work with me as a coach, whether you're clergy or you are not. I do clergy coaching and life coaching, and I also do social media management for churches. You can check out my book, Expanding the Expedition Through Digital Ministry, at Amazon. And today I invite you to make the important choice to embrace a life of wellness. See you next week.